done this in like a month. So I'm actually kind of impressed. It's kind of loud. My voice might be a little bit quiet. Let me turn up my mic gain. How about that? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
Can you hear me? Do I sound okay?
We do.
Jesus.
You probably want to bring down that fader, and I'll turn my mic up. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm back. Cool. Sorry about that. Man, I've been doing all this weird shit with my audio gear, and now I had to get it back into podcast mode. Cool. Welcome, everyone, to RealTuners Radio. How's it going? Now, here's what scares me. I don't think anybody can find us on YouTube because it wouldn't let me create. There we go. Episode 167. There's one person watching that could find it.
And
11 now. Okay.
Facebook, I got no video. Oh, there. Facebook's coming up right now. It's running way delayed.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can hear it now. I get somebody's background. Kenny, I think you're like replaying the whole video back.
All my stuff is muted.
Everything here's muted.
Okay, hold on. Let me mute my shit. Nope, that was me. I'm an idiot. That was me on YouTube. Talking to myself.
Kenny, it's your fault.
It was delayed.
All right, look, everybody else blames me for shit. I don't care.
It's hard being an influencer. Just kidding.
No, yeah, that one's me.
Oh, what, Mike? Mike,
I accidentally opened it up and it was loud.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You're fine. Let's see here. Did people show up on our? Oh, yep. There's a video showed up on my Facebook page. Fuck yeah! Very good. Hey, look at all these guys listening. Timothy Brunner, John Ryan, Chad Bartling, Tyler Ides, not too far. He's only like 30 minutes from where I'm at right now. I'm already being reminded about my community standards. I'm lucky it's letting me post on Facebook. They zucked me for a whole 30 days. I posted that in the podcast fan club page. Yeah, they zucked me for like a whole 30 days for being mean in like 2019. And I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, well, if they're going to keep going through the catalog between then and now, you know, I might get zucked for like another 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the same thing.
I mean, it happens. Whatever. All right, so let's see here. What else is shaking? I'm getting my bearings here with the YouTube stream and the messages. Hang on just a second, guys. YouTube, someone else talk. What happened? Oh, you know, we did a class last weekend. It was okay.
Was that the one down in Florida?
Yes, sir. KSR Performance, Kevin Smith Racing, YouTube hero now. He's a big dog.
Speaking of influencers.
He's an influencer. He's a good influencer, but he was bitching about every time he puts up cool content. Like the neatest thing that Kevin Smith did here recently, I thought, was he put a GoPro camera under the suspension and chassis and brake view of a Dodge Viper at Sebring, road racing at Sebring, and it was the coolest thing ever. And it got like 4 views, and he was pissed. And he's like, "Nah, the cooler stuff you put in, the less people that watch YouTube stuff do it.
The less real data you put in.
Market for people watching 1320 video and stuff. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean." Whatever. I thought it was a good watch, and he was pissed because it wasn't drawing a lot of views. But anyway, I mean, that class was awesome. It's always cool to have a class there. Next one coming up, and I mean, I hate to break this to people, but I announced it like 5 days ago, and there's a whopping 2 seats left. But it's at Blake Hughes' shop at 417 Motorsports. You can find the last 2 seats at realtuners.com/417, right? For 417 Motorsports. That class is May 21st and 22nd. There, I got my little advertisement in. Other than that, not much else going on. Ew, I see why it's not letting me log in. I'm logged in as somebody else here. Sorry, hold on. My YouTube thing is weird. I'm like, why does that look like someone else's channel? Oh. Just a second. I'll be on the YouTube chat. I see the Facebook group right now. So.
I got YouTube. I got Facebook. Kenny's on YouTube.
Yep. I'm on both of them, I think.
So who's going to get those last 2 seats of that class?
So maybe buy a plane ticket.
Yep, buy a plane ticket and come up 417 Motorsports, Springfield, Missouri. It's a good time. It's another good class like Kevin's. Maybe better.
Are you planning any classes for Milwaukee this year?
Maybe not Milwaukee. I don't know. AJ and those guys don't have that dyno in that facility anymore. They've changed it up. So I don't have a home to do it at in Milwaukee. If somebody wants to find us one, I would do it there. If not, possibly Twin Cities in Minnesota, possibly Minneapolis.
Barry Cook. What's up, Barry Cook?
Yeah, we working on his car Friday. So it doesn't really let me. Hopefully this doesn't interrupt whatever we have going on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I apologize. It's screwed up. I can get to YouTube.
Kenny, why do you even have a C4 on the lift for? What are you doing with a C4 Corvette?
LS swap.
Smart man. Smart man.
You don't know anybody in the market for a crossfire motor that's got a spun bearing, do you?
No, sir. Look, my dad's got an 82 collector's edition, and the day it breaks will be the last day it runs with a crossfire injection or crossfire motor.
Oh yeah, did you see? Okay, so Pro Stock John Ryan just pointed out Paul Hozenga passed away from COVID.
No,
I guess I looked at his Facebook page and I didn't realize he was sick. He'd been sick for over a month. But Jesus.
So John was?
No.
Huizenga. Huizenga. Okay.
So Paul was a Mustang guy who was he was a motor journalist for a long time. You would see him at like the Fun Ford events. I remember him from and World War Challenge stuff like that. But he was kind of a Mustang guy, but a well-known auto journalist and a good one. So rest in peace. That sucks. I hate to hear that. Anyway, any classes for Milwaukee? No, I don't know yet. Let's see here. Greg Banish podcast are like 1,500 views, and that guy is incredible. Thanks, Bill 2178. That's awesome. He also lives with his parents. I'm kidding. That's horrible.
Oh,
I'm joking. One of us makes a living tuning. But anyway, yeah, welcome aboard. Okay, so let's see what else. Mike, you had a crappy week. Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, just on the boat front more than anything else right now, because it's spring break and everyone thinks that their boats that have been sitting for 6 months that they haven't touched, all of a sudden they deserve to have fixed in 8 hours. Yeah. But that's about it. Race car stuff's been easy, man. Like things are rolling pretty good. There's Mr. Scotty Willis. Hey, Mr. Scotty Willis. Racing stuff's been good. Turbo's been flying. The new Jose stuff is. If I'll tell you right now, if you guys are into boosted racing, I don't care what kind of motor it's on, and you aren't paying attention to what Jose from Porsche Inductions is doing right now, you are behind the curve. And I mean that sincerely, not just because I sell his product.
No, Jose's got a lot of good stuff going on, man. That's no doubt. And he's got a lot of angry haters and competitors. I love that part.
Dude, he's got everything from he now makes his own backing plates for turbos because Garrett got behind with, call COVID, call this, call that, call whomever's production issue this side now. And so he's able to cast and forge his own parts. And then there's a run. Everyone's behind on Cummins, the actuators for the factory Cummins turbos. So he's like, well, I'm a turbo guy. So he outsourced his own Cummins turbo vane actuators. I mean, the man, every time I turn around, he's sending me new product. And I'm like, yo, Jose, chill. I can't even post fast enough for the last new product. Like, stop.
That's awesome. That's good. We like Jose. We've had good. I've tried to get him on the podcast, and he's kind of shy, or he always has something going on Wednesday night.
He does not like being on video or in person. I don't know why.
It's probably because there was that one or two guys. I ordered my shit yesterday, and I didn't get it today. Fuck you. You suck.
I will tell you right now, Mr. Jose is running outside of my custom because I have some crazy like Ultra Street, class spec turbocharger stuff going on. Outside of that, he is pretty much down to about 2 weeks on everything.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad. All things considered, that's not bad. That's better than a lot of other stuff right now. Man, if you make electronics, holy shit. We're redesigning circuit boards at the prototype phase just so we can put old-ass through-hole components on them that we can get a hold of. That's pretty funny. Instead of little surface mount at Mega 328s, Jason's doing the 30-year-old through-hole versions of that processor because it works great, but it's you can't get the surface mount stuff anymore.
It's available. That's what matters right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel sorry for companies that are trying to make electronics that really didn't design them in-house. There's a lot of them that pretend to, but they outsource to a guy or two. We've been kind of dabbling in that market a little bit, and it's interesting. I mean, I've had nitrous controller guys and stuff that there's problems sourcing parts. And hey, man, do you know an alternative or how to work around this? I paid some guy 20 grand to design this thing, and I need an alternative part. And he wants like another 20 grand to do it again from scratch. I'm like, well, he would be redesigning a PCB. What you do is you hire somebody who does that stuff and keep them in house. It's a good time to have that. I think you're going to see some transitions here with this new economy. Speaking of which, along those lines, I was talking to David Veldman this morning, and him and Nicole, his better half, way better half. I'm teasing. He's probably listening. They're also my neighbors. They live like 100 yards away, but he's a drag week guy. He's also like my personal mechanic here in town. I did an oil change over there this morning, and we discussed all the shit that's wrong with my daily driver that we got to do here in the next couple weeks. But we were talking about how, and actually, Brad Nagel brought it up, but it's the engine rebuilders and shops are going to have a resurgence here. As they're pushing more to electric vehicles, they have to let you at least drive your old ass gas car. And if you choose to drive the gas car, I mean, like for me, gas prices suck, and I don't like what's going on. I'm just going to say that. But I'm fortunate in that the only time I'm driving long distances, someone else is paying for the gas, right? So I don't personally. We burn like a tank a month in our household for like grocery runs and stuff like that. So you're going to keep, a lot of people are going to keep their older cars alive. Well, think about, and I've been told this in California, the small engine rebuilders are seeing a boom already because they're no longer allowing combustion engines to be sold. People still have to run weed eaters and stuff like that, and small engines for generators and whatnot. So anyway, I'm hoping that engine rebuilders of all sizes get to see a massive resurgence of people being interested in keeping their shit running a long time again. Which sucks for anybody who bought cars after like 2010 or whatever. Not really reliable usually. But anyway.
Two things. Steve licked that Gen 3 turbine is a bad bitch. We're the one that did the R&D on that thing. And that's a bad son of a gun. And then someone's asking if we want to get into Holley Terminator talk. Define Terminator talk and what you want us to talk about. I got to do one of those tomorrow morning.
So Silas G asks, why don't the feds back ethanol as a replacement for gasoline like they're backing EVs? I feel like the support fell off the last few years. Big oil lobbying against it, etc. Let me tell you why. Because your government is absolutely 0% what you think your government is. It's nothing but a pay-for-play scam, just like every courtroom seems to be these days. That's a great segue into our next topic. But just your government is a scam. The reason the 85 is not popular now, even though it's better for the environment, is because it's not better for someone's pocketbooks who happens to have the mic this minute. Remember that with your vote.
Someone posted something. I don't have it. It's at my work computer. The other day, there's a link to a website because a lot of things are public record where you can see what stocks Congress is buying and selling. All I'm going to say is just looking at the timeline of when members of Congress are buying and selling things and when certain things happen in our country will open your eyes up to a lot of things going on.
That's the way it's always been.
A conversation about ethanol versus EV. Silas, so I'm going to be the only one on this podcast that's going to go ahead and say it. I do think there is a strong EV future. I believe in EV. What I don't believe in is EV tomorrow. I don't think we are
want
ready.
an EV for groceries because I make a grocery run, but 5 miles away, twice a week, once a week, whatever. I don't want an EV to be shoved down my throat by making it unaffordable to drive a combustion engine.
Exactly.
You know. TFI and O2 problems.
Oh Jesus! Well, you lost me at TFI, man. I like you and all, but come on.
See my post on TFI on the. I got into it with a guy today. Thought I'd be smart. He's like, "Here's a scope trace of my TFI," and I'm like, "Here's 9 things that are wrong with that scope trace." Although I'm proud of you for hooking up the scope. These are the things that are wrong. You got a great picture of what's wrong with a Chinese TFI module, and it was full of false triggers points, right? Like you can see where the ignition, the spark would cause enough in the square wave form to make a false trigger. And for every one good trigger, it had 2 or 3 false ones anyway.
Hey, so Texas 2K must be kind of gay this year because Gavin from Frankenstein's on here talking crap to me. Meanwhile, he's at Texas 2K with his Corvette.
TX2K.
He's
what
there,
are you doing,
there with his Corvette, and he's on. He has nothing to do but sit online and talk crap to me.
Hey, if he wants to get on here and give us a, I'll send his ass an invite right now. Hold on. If Gavin's got Zoom, he's got an invite coming. Give me 13 seconds. I want to hear from him anyway. He's always a fun chat. He's been here before.
Him and JR are out there. They're sending us videos running along I-10 today or wherever the hell highway they were on the way out there.
Kind of surprised they still do that.
Steve Lick, let me tell you something. I have told Gavin time and time again that he can catch the back tire from my C5 anytime he wants it, anywhere.
Oh, man.
All right, I just sent him an invite. If he's got it, if he's going to bitch out, or is he going to do it? Brandon Dollar joined in. How awesome. Good to see Brandon. I was just talking to him the other day. We're getting ready. Man, speaking of stuff coming up, so we're headed out to Rockville, Utah again. All the RealTuners guys and the podcast and the class attendees. Cody Breacher, Jeff is coming with him. We're actually going to work on the. We're going to try and get a head start on the Turbinator this year. Where is the thing that Jason mostly built this? Hold on, let me take it off. It's got a Holley style connector on it. It's really ugly and it's hilarious because it's made out of parts you can still get. That's an Arduino Nano. Ah, shit, don't go away on me, this stupid camera. Stupid background. Anyway, it's an Arduino Nano dropped on its own board with conditioned inputs and outputs to drive relays. And it's got a CAN bus transceiver on it. And what he's got this thing doing, I mean, I wrote the code, so that's my part. But we have 2 of these boxes. One of them's up at the front of the car, 30 feet in front of the others. And it's hooked to the buttons on the steering wheel, right? The shoot launch buttons. It broadcasts the status of those buttons over a CAN. And then the rear one in the back of the car picks up the CAN messages and then decides what to do with it. Open the chute doors, launch the high speed, the medium, and the low speed. Now, there are mechanical backups for all of this, so don't worry about it if our Arduino stuff were to fuck up on us or not, but I don't think it's going to. I mean, we're running the engine with one. Anyway, this is the electronic versions of firing off the parachutes and slowing down a car from hopefully well over 530 miles an hour at the end of the 5th mile.
I can't fathom 530 miles an hour. Like, that doesn't even compute. Like, it doesn't seem like, I don't know.
Your top fuel dragster, awesome. We're going 200 mile an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's like, it doesn't compute up here. And Scott, I'm gonna tell you right now, looking at these YouTube chats, like, you better get on this class schedule, bro, because they're wanting you in Vegas.
I know people are pissed. So, number one, Scott McDonald, you and me need to talk. We need to do a class up in the Northeast.
I would probably come to that class, just so you know.
Yes. Maybe a Mooresville, North Carolina class, an automotive specialist, maybe, with the NASCAR guys. They've asked about it. So, hey, check it out. Gavin, dude. Awesome. He's sacked up. He's here. You're
he changed his name. Look at him.
He's Mike's daddy. Okay. I love this guy. You are such a good sport, Gavin. All right, dude. Unmute yourself, though. Your thing is muted. You have to find the mute on your phone. You usually have to slide the thing around to find that there's a start talking now or whatever. Nope, you figured out how to turn off your video. But anyway, Gavin Simcoe should be with us momentarily, and this will be hilarious. He's live from.
Gavin was intelligent. I just said he's funny. Okay.
I'm gonna ask him to unmute, or there we go. Ask to unmute. That should be prompting you, or it should be.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
There you are.
Welcome. Are you? Let me guess. You're at a hotel in Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay, so has anything started there yet, or are people just showing up today?
I think most of it is people showing up today. Wednesday night, there's a little bit of shenanigans that go on, at nighttime, but and I think it's mainly just a little bit of TNT at the track. I think Thursday is when they start doing like qualifying and whatnot.
So are they doing test and tune for roll race type stuff, or they also do drag racing down there a little, don't they?
They do both. They do a roll and a drag tournament.
Got it. Awesome. No, that's cool, man. Thank you for joining us. So what are you seeing? Anything cool down there? Any big expectations? I mean, I'm guessing you guys have a shitload of customers with Frankenstein heads, or at least a few that you're kind of seeing how they're going to do, or how's that whole program going? You've been there a while
we're
now.
actually just down there with late model performance. They have a ZR1 with some of our F310s. They got their ZL1 with our ported stock heads. And then they got another car with it's a stock block 5.3. And they somehow managed to fit some of our F110 heads on it. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that works out.
That's pretty hilarious combo. I'm kind of curious to see how that works out.
Apparently they had to notch the block a good bit. So
right. I guess.
Some old small block Ford stuff, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. How's production going for you guys? I don't hear a lot of people bitching about waiting too long. I mean, things must be going okay, doing as much as you do in-house.
Yeah, everything's going pretty well. We're actually catching up a good bit. Our lead times are going down. We're changing a lot of things in production right now to try to increase or decrease lead times. And, things are looking pretty good. We're going through some growing pains, as anybody else will, but it's going pretty well.
Yeah, they get product out pretty quick as long as your name's not Mike. Then I don't even get phone calls back.
I'm sorry?
I said they get product out quick as long as your name's not Mike. Then I don't even get phone calls back. Gavin just makes fun of me all day.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Or if your name's Will, nothing gets done if your name's Will either.
Poor Will Tetro. That poor guy.
Hey, give me a second. My volume's like super low. I can barely hear you guys. So give me a few to kind of mess with my.
Feel free to turn your. I think you can probably turn your volume up. I think the phone volume takes over or something. But yeah, very cool. So. I'm trying to pull up my Facebook chat at the same time now. Angel Short. Angel, my favorite person. She's my favorite person too. Where the hell is your husband at? He's supposed to be on here. He got an invite. Justin McMurtry has joined up. Nice. Chris Boyette, good to see you. Barry Cook is in here. And I keep getting reminded every time I go to type something. Here's a community standards reminder about Facebook, because you apparently seem to have problems with community standards. No, I have problems with sleazy torque converter guys, apparently. But oh, shit. Did you get the volume figured out yet? He's having trouble with the video, it looks like.
I never said he was bright.
No, it's okay.
No,
now
it's just I got to swipe to a different screen to check everything out.
James working on another car. James Short will be with us momentarily, folks. I don't know, man. Anybody got questions for Gavin now, man? He's been with Frankenstein for quite a while now, and that must be going well. It sounds like it's going well.
About a year and 5 months. Yep.
That's pretty good, man. That's awesome. Did you get the fam all moved out there too?
Yeah, we moved the family down in May of this last year. And then bought our first house in September. So
nice. Congrats, man.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know Gavin, I guess I should have done that. Gavin is a SAM graduate that went out, did his own thing, and now he ended up over with Mr. Chris Franks over at Frankenstein. And we made the swap over on William Tetro's car to all of Frankenstein / Gavin stuff on the RX-7. That's the stuff that we were running the car when we went that 460 pass, and definitely having great results so far. I can't say enough good about it.
Car, so we couldn't bring it to the class.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
Oh, that sucked. I saw that too, and I was like, well, first I'm just going to tell him RIP, but I'll give it a couple hours before I bitch about not having a class car.
Sometimes things happen for a reason. Gavin has seen some pictures. I'll send you some afterwards, but when I tell you the comeback will always be greater than the setback, you have never met anyone as determined to go fast as little William Tetro. And that dude is on a mission right now.
Yeah, we're definitely working on some pretty cool things. I'm really, really excited for that project.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little monster, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, hey guys, we're gonna get going. We're gonna go get some dinner, but it was nice chatting with you guys for a little bit.
Good to hear from you guys. We'll get you guys. We'll get you and Chris back on here at some point in time when you want to get on the talk.
Okay. Yeah, I can work that out.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, sir. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, man. See you guys.
Always good to hear for drop in from those guys. Love it. So that was fun. What else do we want to talk about?
Tulip valves. Oh, of course. As soon as you got it.
All yours.
Oh man. poor quality valves.
I was just gonna say metallurgy was one of the biggest problems a couple years ago.
Obviously very high spring pressures. Two-load valves are very common in race engines where we run super high spring pressures. Basically, the valve becomes a wear item in the motor, and obviously heat. A lot of guys that do huge extended period of time timing retards, stuff along those lines, it's not uncommon. Whoa. My whole system just went dead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're still there.
Wow, everything on my screen is black. I am totally black. But yeah,
we lost your video.
Two of the exhaust valves.
Pretty picture of your face, but we have your audio yet. It might come back.
Must be the Russians.
It's Russians. Ooh, speaking of the Russians, both our PayPal accounts got hacked. Me and the wife. Within a span of like 7 days of each other. They actually spent $1,500 of hers. They didn't get any of my money, but they. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if anybody else is struggling through PayPal and Netflix hacks, but I've had both of them. So I'm reading Pro Stock John's latest post message here.
Did you not have MFA turned on your PayPal account?
No, someone else turned on two-factor authentication for me.
Oh man!
And then I had to get a human being on there. Well, here's what's funny. I caught them in the act because they got two-factor authentication working on their phone, but they didn't change the password yet. So I was able to do a password change or whatever. They didn't change the other security questions, but then it was like, now you're going to use two-factor authentication. Dude, I spent 24 hours trying to get a human on the phone. They were having problems, and PayPal, that's from my old hometown, was where it actually was really started. Don't believe the Elon Musk horse shit. It was started by two dudes in Omaha, Nebraska, and a lot of their business, a lot of their stuff is still run out there. But yeah, I couldn't get a hold of anybody on the phone. They were obviously having problems, and they're like, yeah, we'll fix it. Boom, snapped a finger, turned it off, or turn it back on. Well, for me, good to go. And they tried to transfer like $50 out to a Visa prepaid card or something. I guess PayPal caught that part, but whatever. Fucking IT guys, right?
Yeah.
Tired IT guys.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Profiles for marine use because of the sustained RPM. Yeah, so I'm just looking at the YouTube chat, and John Ryan's asking about, Pro Stock John's asking about the boats. Number one, sustained RPM. Number two, they'll usually go less aggressive on the cam for a couple of different reasons, but longevity. But really, you're not making a peak power engine, so the cams on those are like Engine Masters Challenge cams. They're out of the hole torque and they're mid-range. They're not peak power, so it is a significant difference. What else? Anybody else? Questions? All right, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, everyone. I'm just kidding.
Savage. Everybody's savage. What was that?
No. Just we're grumpy today. I don't know if I told you guys. I got big dicked by a local tuner again yesterday. So basically, there's only in like a 300-mile radius of where I moved this last couple years. There's basically one or two of them left that haven't like big dicked me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by that term. When someone else basically like you do 99.9% of the work and then they make a big Facebook post taking credit for it. I'm not going to complain too bad because I got paid really well to do the work, the actual work. But yet again, it was another one of those things. I mean, I guess you guys might remember back. It started back in like, what was it, 2016 when one of the other big EFI instructor guys was tuning a big race team or whatever. And he's literally on Facebook posting about it. Well, I'm on any desk into their dyno. And then a week later I was on site and he was no longer there. But anyway, so be careful when you watch these guys on Facebook and they are like, oh, I tuned the blah, blah, blah. There might have been like 3 or 5 other guys involved in that project that maybe did a lot more of the work. That's why I don't grandstand as much. I mean, I was guilty of that years ago, but I'm getting away from that. Any more Bonneville news from your other guys? Did you, Jeff Bonneville? I don't know if you heard what we were talking about. I just at the beginning of this, I gave the update on the Turbinator. We're going out there here April, second week in April. That's about it. My other guys? No, the other guys being Andy Leach and those guys. Oh, I think they're in engine hell trying to find an engine. I don't know if the guys behind me here are going to have something together in time. Because getting the right thing together for that car, you can't just go to like any drag race LS builder. You need something like a boat engine almost. So something that can do some serious longevity. But anyway, it owes us nothing. That we made like 21 passes at wide open and get the shit beat out of it. What else? Any other good questions? Did anyone else notice the meets Red Demon put on for Texas 2K? I'm assuming it's 6 or bust for their program this weekend. I did not. Which Red Demon is he talking about? Is he talking about the 4G63 Mitsubishi guys, Red Demon from Ohio, that were an H pattern record holder for a while? Or aren't there a couple other Red Demons down south? Zach Slevin, you're going to have to clarify that and see who we're talking about. Wow, I'm impressed with how many people we have listening to us comparatively to all these other podcasts. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for all you guys showing up at the class last weekend too in Florida. And all you guys that are coming out here to Blake's shop in, I guess, 8 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks.
DSM love.
For sure. We lost Perdido entirely. Like, I think something happened to Florida. It went off the map. Like, he locked up a couple times, and then he's probably rebooting his laptop cussing. He has not had a good week. Hey, excuse me. Speaking of not had a good week, our podcast guest, well, I don't want to say it was bad. He prepared everybody for what was coming. But Corey Willis from PPEI, they finally, I don't know if they finished, they reached the phase in his case where they issued a verdict, and he was found guilty of criminal EPA violations. Fortunately, it's just a monetary fine he's able to pay. And they whacked him for, what, $3 million and change? Something like that. Dude's not on my level. Just kidding. Little joke going out to you, $11 million guys. Anyway, it's a criminal fine thing, so it's a real thing. It's not like a civil action. So he's got to pay that. And I don't know. I guess there's an agreement on how that gets paid. I didn't look on the thing on their website, but I saw a couple of news articles about it. But anyway, of course, the liberal media is taking a gigantic shit on Corey because he's an evil atmosphere killer and ecological destroyer, you know, like the Diesel Bro guys. But he's not. He's actually a really nice dude, and he's into motorsports. But anyway, you can go back and listen to the Corey Willis podcast episode. It's been over a year ago. He talked about what he was going through with those guys and what kind of bullshit that was. Yeah, your government it's out of control. It doesn't matter which side you elect. It's not good. I'll probably get totally removed from YouTube for saying that, or I'll never be in an automotive magazine again. Wait, there aren't any more automotive magazines. Anyway.
You mean print or digital?
Good morning from Australia. Good to see you guys. Actually, no, those guys do good stuff. Yeah, Mark Rios, man, you should have made that class. That was a good class, a Holley class. We're gonna do another one. Perdido's talking about one in possibly Daytona at an air conditioning shop. It's getting too late in the season now to do it in a non-air AC shop down there. That's why we headed up to like Scott McDonald's direction, because it's not 109 up there very frequently. But we'll get something set up with Scotty Wheels. Maybe get Jamie Miller to come to that class. Yeah, Corey is a sharp dude. Agreed. Let's see. What JP DeLisi's on here, man. I don't know why your last name is Snacks now, but I'll tell you what. If you ever get a chance to go visit JP in Detroit, and he's going to take you out to dinner, let him take you out to dinner. He knows where to get the steak. Of course, DSM Love. Yeah, I should have put that together with Zach Slevin. No, dude, I haven't seen pictures of what the Red Demon guys are put together this year. Kenny Howard, do you have your own YouTube channel?
I do. I just post stupid shit on it, though.
That's awesome. No, we're going to go check. I'm going to go subscribe to that right now.
Uh-oh. Oh, hell.
Thank you, Chad Bartling.
Now I'm going to have to actually put some content up.
Make some money. Put the effort in. You don't got to put too much effort into it. I went to the class, and it was so nice to get in front of the group of people again who are all like-minded, and I was reminded that people appreciate when we just go ahead and hit record or stream and just bullshit, even if I don't have a good plan, which I apologize for not putting better plans together. But man, our hours are so limited these days. I'm about to turn 49 here in another couple of weeks, and it's like I don't feel like it's old age that's making me slow down, but I literally, like, if you look at my calendar, it's we're booked up. We're doing a lot of stuff, so I apologize for not being better prepared. But I tell you what, we get Chris Franks and Gavin back on here. We'll make a show out of that. Talk cylinder heads.
That'd be pretty cool.
Do
Cylinder
we
head
come
stuff is
north?
always
Steve
fun.
Beach. Man, I've done 2 classes in Long Island before, previously. I think 2018, 2019, 2018. Ooh, hey, Pro Stock John says LS Fest is debuting some new classes. Stay tuned. We will. And honestly, when you're ready, if you want to get on here and talk about it, John, otherwise send me a kind of press update and we'll talk about whatever you want for LS Fest. All of our tons and tons of LS Fest customers. Sometimes no plan is the best plan. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Although sometimes it's nice to do a plan. We do no plans pretty often.
860.
860 index for quick street cars. There you go. Okay, interesting
That's
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, JP, we do miss the podcast. We need to do it more often. I know. We need to come back up there and do a class, maybe in Detroit. With air conditioning. It gets hot up there in the summer, it turns out. Oh, I'll tell you what. So here's something that'll make those last 2 seats go quick for the Blake Hughes class. I don't want to jinx this. I am in talks with the hot rod barbecue guy himself, Rich Pedraza. He's a drag week racer, a customer of ours we've tuned for a while now. And basically this last year's worth of drag and drive events, they got the yellow Mustang with the flames on the side, the big block naturally aspirated Mustang. Talking to him about catering and doing the cooking for the class at Blake's. We're gonna do something really cool. So, but he actually sells his own line of sauces, rubs, spices, and stuff, and that's literally all we use here at the house, and we have for like the last year, and that's our favorite stuff. But anyway, he's talking about coming and cooking for the class, and I thought that would be badass. So.
I just ordered a whole bunch of stuff. By the way, my laptop just decided to do a Windows update right there in the middle of the podcast. Perfect timing.
And how many times did you click ignore on the reboot notification before it finally snagged you?
I didn't. Literally, I'm sitting here mid-conversation, and the screen just went black, and my laptop said it was doing a BIOS update, whatever that means.
Ooh.
That can't be good. That doesn't sound good at all.
You need to turn on authorization for all that stuff. Make it at least give you a checkbox so you can ignore it for 6 months, like the rest of us.
But yeah, I just ordered a bunch of Mr. Pedraza's rubs, 3 of each, I think.
Oh, check that out.
That's all, dude. So, you know the sauces that he just did a Kickstarter campaign for the sauces, and it was successful. He met his number. He tested them on us. He had a small batch of people that he sent the sauces to when they were in pre-production testing or whatever, and he sent some to us. That shit is good. It's like the sweet one's like better than the Country Bob sweet. If you like you got to taste the stuff. You got to try it out. Go read on his website. And I suck at life for not having it pulled up right now, but I'm going to go find it. Let's see. What's Scotty McDonald? What did I just
Scotty
say?
says, yeah, better than at the track. So believe it or not, my track-based laptop does not even have Wi-Fi on it. I pulled the card. That way it never updates. It does nothing except for what I tell it to do.
Yeah, that's what I did with my Dyno computer. I never have problems with my Dynocom stuff, but all the other people, I don't know why I can't talk to it today. It was working fine yesterday. You connected it to the internet and let it update.
There's some funny comments on YouTube right there. Bill 2178. Yeah, so anyway, let's see what else is going on.
Comparing NALS 5.3 versus Turbo 5.3, how come the turbo version needs more idle and cruise timing? Back pressure?
I mean, they say that, but not at idle, I don't think it does. At idle, your timing is based on how the guy sets it up. You can have a lot of airflow, like, in other words, the throttle open pretty far, and then pull a bunch of timing back. That's how the OEMs do it. Or you can have little airflow, traditional, like a carburetor guy would tune it, and it might want the 22 or 24. But I'll just say this. pretty much everybody puts way too fucking much timing in an LS and doesn't know what the shit they're doing.
Facts.
And I don't care if it's the fastest guy on a certain combo or whatever. That means he knows what the timing needs to be at wide open throttle. He doesn't know shit about anywhere besides wide open, which is easy. I sound like a dick or whatever, but the idle timing, there really is an art to getting the idle timing and the cruise timing right. And it's not the numbers, it's the approach you take to tune it, I think. I mean, I'm going to try and do a better segment on that in the class. I talk about it, but I'd like to demonstrate it. So, yeah.
Right,
Brian
Barnhill,
right? Barnhill's in Vegas tonight. So he told us he might join in later, but he's working on is it drift cars or is it off desert trucks? I think he's desert trucks tonight.
No, he's working on, well, the Sorensen's own them all. I think he was on drift cars tonight.
Okay, yeah. Something fun. 19 at idle? I mean, it depends on how you want to idle your LS, man. Some of them idle at 5 degrees if you want to. Depends where you want the heat and how much torque reserve you want. I should probably do a free webinar at some point or something. I did one on traction control about a year ago. It's about time for me to do another one of those. Maybe I do.
You know what someone should really do, Scott? I mean, really would come out good? A Holley tuning book.
Yeah, I know. So it's like I'm trying to resurrect it. No, I worked on it some on the trip back home with Jason, and it's we're trying to resurrect it because what I've been doing is I've been using it for the stuff in the class. And I don't know if you noticed, but I broke things up like from the chapters that you haven't read the book obviously, but it's I kind of put things in chapters and tried to put them in logical order, and it sort of worked. It needed some presentation work, but the material was solid. The discussion was really good, right? Because I had sat there in all the detail, 85% done. I probably have 400 man hours writing a book, you know. And when I started was before there were guys out there just putting out a ton of horrible information anyway. I felt like it just gets lost amongst the crowd, but I'm probably just going to finish it since it's that close and just sell it as a PDF or something. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, someone needs to come out with a Holley book. My dumb lame ass.
Series of videos would work these days. I mean, do people still read books?
A lot of people have asked for the book. I think as far as videos go, we at one point we were looking at really investing time and money and effort into online courses and things like that. And then we looked around and we saw, okay, well, HP Academy, those guys have to offer discounts for everything now. That stuff just has gotten so cheap, and they put so much good effort into it. You see HP Academy, Jeff Evans puts killer effort into his online classes, and they're very inexpensive. I mean, you got to have a giant commitment to buying hardware and things like that to cover 20 different ECUs. So I don't know if I'm interested in doing much more on the buy a video course kind of thing. Whatever I do has got to make some money. That's like, we're still putting food on the table in this house with this enterprise, and it's working good. It's fine. I'm really happy with how it's worked out. I don't feel like I'm ever ripping anyone off, and we're not billionaires or whatever, but we're doing okay. So I don't know. Tough call.
Well, I mean, I wasn't saying you had to give it away. I was just saying.
No, but you do have to give it away because there's other dipshits out there that give away info, and they might have. They'll have like they're basically doing a really good job of reading me the instruction manual and making it dumbed down. Okay, cool. Here's how you wire this. Here, don't do this, and blah blah blah. But then they'll run into some area where they just don't realize that, man, you just don't have experience at what you're lecturing me at right there, and you just made a horrible recommendation that kind of destroyed all the good shit that you were doing. Some of those guys, I didn't want to get in that space and fight with them, so I just stuck with tuning still. And I mean, I'm glad I did because I'm still learning things. Honestly, I haven't chased drag race cars for this is probably my second season of not really doing much in drag racing other than helping people out who are just regular paying customers or whatever. But motorsports wise, I've got into some stuff that was pretty cool. Working with the automotive specialist guys, there's some pretty neat cup car and craftsman truck stuff we've got to work on. And some other, there's a piston engine guys going, there's some NASCAR guys that are building a car for a customer looking for that piston powered wheel driven 500 mile an hour record. Same thing that the Terminator is gunning for, you know. We're working on we're kind of planning phase on that, but so I'm working on some cool stuff, but it's basically paying customers. You know, I'm not doing a bunch of sponsored freebie ass drag racers this year. I didn't have to last year either. I mean, I'll go back and sponsor something cool eventually, but I'm kind of waiting for the next big thing. I think there's some new electronics I've been helping test for some other people that I think are going to come out and maybe kind of change the world a little bit. I think there's going to be a lot of effort to make Terminator X a better racing ECU. Perduto, check out what I did a couple days ago. I went up to Gary Hart's place. I have 4 injectors, staged set of injectors on a Holley Terminator X with their own VE table.
I like that.
I used a solid state relay, a special one that I use that you can use as an injector driver. I ran all 4 high impedance 210 pound injectors off of this, and they're up on top of a blower, and they run exactly 1/3 of the fuel through the supercharger, and 2/3 goes through 8 port injectors down low, and it totally worked. It worked awesome. I was using a PWM spare output or advanced output. So anyway, I think there's a lot of neat shit that's going to come out for Terminator that will make those a better racing ECU.
They're not a bad ECU at all.
Awesome.
There's some very small holdbacks, no low impedance injectors, which you get around with a box, whatever. But
no internal logging, but it's very cheap to have a logger in the car that writes to SD still.
Yes.
It's not a fast rate, but that's okay. Let's see what else.
Mark.
I'm sorry, I was reading all the messages like me. Let's see, where is
Setup Wizard.
the rest?
I thought someone was telling you to use the Setup Wizard for the. Actually, I feel like a lot of people don't read all the information. Dude, let me tell you something, Silas. I can't tell you how many people just don't understand that in the Holley software. If you click the stupid question mark and hover whatever you're going to do, it's going to tell you what it does. And they still ask you what does it do. It's like literally all I'm going to do is push the same button you could have pushed. People are just that lazy. Like
Seth Moore's got me laughing out loud. Sorry, I had to go mute for a second. Seth. Oh shit. Let's see what else, man. Somebody else got commentary or questions? I'm trying.
Apparently, we have a cake baker in here. He said, "I wanted to go to your class at Blake's. All sorts of bad, but sadly, at peak cake season." I'm just saying, if you can bake a good cake, my mailbox is open. I like cake.
I want to see. Yeah, that's cool. Bring it. You can come cook for us.
He's on Facebook.
I'll tell you, the best food we ever had would be the TPI Specialties up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Twice now. Jim Hall's dad was a retired caterer for big events. We showed up in the morning. He's like, show up early, like 7:30. Okay, so we did. Dude's out there doing custom omelets. And he's got a gas grill rig that's like an outdoor chef's whole kitchen.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm making custom omelets. And when I say custom, I mean like you've been to the 5-star hotel and the dude stands out there and he's got 100 different things, make a badass custom omelet for you. And then he had baked all sorts of confections, donuts, everything homemade baked, but literally like a whole store full of confectionery stuff, donuts, muffins, just everything, like 5 different kinds of bread and stuff, fat guy stuff. Ugh, love it. But that was the best meal we ever had. I'm trying to get something like that at Blake's. I don't think he's going to do breakfast, but something cooking for you.
Zach, I don't believe you cook cupcakes. You're going to need to send me some to try.
Oh, damn.
I don't believe it.
Crap, that's awesome.
I'm just saying, red velvet. That's all I'm going to say. Send
us some, dude. Make it 80 cakes and 40. Okay, Zach says he does 80 cakes and 4,500 cupcakes that week as the family business. Make it 85 cakes and send us some up here, RealTuners.
Just post your PayPal account and magical things happen.
Perduto's been
Dustin Hodges asking about this Holley Terminator X. We thought we found a bug at the class because we built a tune from scratch for a car and it ran really kind of crappy. It idled weird. It acted like it had injector imbalances or something weird. But we put in an old tune that he had started from someone from a base file that came with Holley, and it ran fine. So we basically started with that one over, put our stuff in, and it was fine. I created another tune from scratch for another customer with almost the exact same combo, the same way I did at the class. And this guy had EGTs. Cylinder number 7 had some weird spark control issues. It wasn't sparking on time. And he put the EGT showed, hey, I got a problem in 7. So he started debugging, and it was he ends up putting a light on it. All the other ones are sparking nice and even. This one wasn't. We moved coils around. We did everything we could. Thought it might be the harness. I ended up taking the tune from the guy's car at class and putting it on the car, the one that worked, and it worked then too, and the problem went away. I would presume that's a bug. The problem is I haven't had time to go back and A-B, repeat it like 6 times. But
it would make sense if we had a hole off that would answer all the questions with the car.
Because it was lazy and it was down like 80 horsepower. It wasn't horrible, but and it was hitting some of the time, but we didn't have EGTs. But this other customer had EGTs, and I mean, I didn't want to go back and forth on his car. Once we fixed it, I'm like, yay, it's fixed. And then I was like, motherfucker, that happened to me last weekend.
I will tell you, there are times when you're working on a car and things just seem to be weird. Like everything seems off. And let's say you're on a Turbo LS car. I'll go grab a random mod motor file, drop it into the ECM, write the whole ECM, and then write the file I was originally working on back in, and everything seems to go away. And you don't question. You just thank the Holley gods, and you go on your day. Like...
That's 100% a software bug. That's bullshit. You don't thank the Holley gods. You fix the problem.
What's the problem? Well, I am not a computer guy. I don't pretend to be a computer guy. That is not my thing. You just saw my laptop do some shit. You're talking about unchecking boxes. I don't even know where those boxes exist. I don't know what they are.
Start, run, Windows Update. Sorry, no, I'm kidding.
But yeah, there are weird idiosyncrasies. Certain ECMs, like we had Dave Geisler's ECM, Scott, that would just...
that one pissed me off. I still couldn't figure out what was going on there. He had some weird bug where no matter what, it was one of the scales would change itself back. Was it your map sensor scale or what was it?
I think it was Excel enrichment.
Yeah, okay, the Excel enrichment would literally, you'd change it and it looked like it changed and the car wouldn't change the tune. Then you'd go back in and it would be...
you make 3 passes, everything's wonderful. Don't even plug the laptop in. Send it the 4th time, it's blowing black smoke like a diesel and you're scratching your head going, what the hell just happened? Yeah. And come back and that changed itself for whatever reason.
Shit, I had an LS ECU do that to me one time.
I think it's more common with those things, a little more complex, the flash and all that stuff. I think some of the tools they're using to tune those are probably not, it's not as easy because you're having to reverse engineer everything, you know, when you're HP tuners or whatever. You have to reverse engineer everything and then you got to write everybody's name down and put it on a list with VINs, and then you got to give it to the EPA.
And I may be 100% wrong in what I do, but like I said, when I have one that's acting a fool, I will drag a file that's totally different car, unrelated, all the way different, so it changes as many things as possible. I'll write it in, and then I'll write the same file I had back in, and when things fix themselves, I'm just like, okay, I'll call that good. I don't know why that worked, but it worked.
It's because something either did or didn't update in memory, and it's reading it. That's what it boils down to. It's a bug. It's a bug in the loader.
I mean, something goes wrong. I remember I've found bugs before for Holley back when I don't know, lately, I'm not really like that helpful anymore, I guess. Maybe I need to be nicer and help them out a little more, or, you know, or give them better feedback, whatever. But it used to be I would find bugs for them. So would Evans. Scott Evans was good at finding bugs. We'd find bugs that we could repeat and show them how. And I mean, I remember there was a time where they were like, in front of my class, we would go to create global file. And I'd be like, hey, man, you got this, and this bug. And they'd be like, oh, man, can you just please not use that? Because we never really test that, and nobody does it that way. Everybody just copies somebody else's file and kind of starts adjusting. In my class, I like to build a file from scratch, from zero, go through every table. So, and it's some people that puts asleep, but real men can start from zero. You know what I mean? If you're a real good tuner, seriously, if you're a good tuner, then you don't need somebody else's shit to start with. At least on a standalone, you should be able to build something from scratch.
Yep. And
know what the engine wants. I give the OEM guys a break on that one.
I can do it. If I can do it, I promise any of you guys can. I promise.
Sure. I remember you, Perduto, you liked doing it that way too. When we did that very first class like 4 years ago, Mike's like, "Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I had to do this too, you know."
Yep.
And he was like into it. And some people are, and some aren't. You know.
That was back when you started. You were dropping the 4 corners versus working across the middle at first. And I don't know why, but that clicked in my head and it worked, and I understood it. And I was like, okay, I can make that work. Like it made sense.
Yep. Making a torque curve. I just had only gotten decent at that. Troy Langlo, listening and working off cupcakes at the gym. If you guys follow Troy Langlo, he owns the fastest third gen Camaro or F body in the world. Camaro. It's Camaro. There is a faster TA, and those cars were slightly more aerodynamic than his, is my understanding. But he's got a 300 mile an hour production body car at Bonneville. And if he could just back it up and do it 2 times in a row, which is the hardest thing for everybody out there, especially in that class, it's I'm not going to say it's not even easy to do once in a production factory type body car to go 300 miles an hour. It's ridiculously hard. Anyway, good to see you again, Troy. Hopefully we'll see you out there soon.
So that's funny. The YouTube chat has the Rios Tune thing up on the screen. Their stock PCMLS is a pain in the ass. But if you actually look at the chat log, I don't see his comment in the chat log anymore.
In YouTube?
Yeah.
Why? I didn't mute him or anything.
I see his other stuff, so I don't think it's me.
Mark Rios, message me. You delete comments
in the middle of our podcast.
Yeah, no, I see his other comments. That's hilarious. What's going on?
Well, Mark used to be a local guy. He grew up here, and then he moved. I don't know. He lives up there somewhere else.
No, he's up by Tick. He came to the Tick Performance class, and then actually we hung out with him and his buddy for dinner afterwards. Mark's a badass. He's really cool, man. I like him.
No, Mark's a cool dude.
He can't listen, so I should just say, Mark, he's gay, but it's okay. I'm just kidding. He's not. He's totally
whoa.
I love it when you say that and somebody can't talk back, right? I had like a month of people talking shit about me, and I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, that seems to be the theme with me. It's like, oh, you can win if you pay enough to have me silenced or whatever. Sure, and tell your bullshit story, whatever.
He was in some, what's it called? Some e-battle with a couple of, I want to say it was CTSV guys. And the guy was like, you can't do what you're doing. And Mark was like, here's a video of me doing it. Well, you can't do that. And Mark's like, here's the video again of it working. And the guy's like, well, that doesn't work. And Mark's like, no, you see the video? That's it doing it. Like you can say I can't all you want, but that's it doing it right there. Like, see it? Go. There it is. I was laughing.
I love that shit. That shit's great. You can't do that. Watch.
Bring Rios on so he can defend himself. You can bring him on. Bring him on. I'll
John,
make fun of him for moving away from
like
here.
Personal friends with Mark Rios, so I'm sorry that probably sounded horrible. But I mean, John's opinion matters, right? He's like, man, Clark, you're lighting into this guy, and you don't even know him. He's just a listener on your podcast. No, I've known Mark a couple years now, like 3 or 4 years, and he's a good dude. So he can take it. He's a big man. Oh Lord. Man, we'll Mark, if we do a class like in Mooresville or something, which ain't too far from you, we'll have you come to that one. Maybe you can bring a car this time.
Stock ECMs are dumb. Sorry, I had to say that one more time.
I mean, the EPA is rounding these guys up. It's happening. They're coming. They got a list of names. They're just going through a big long list right now. So
we will have a full tank of gas this year. I feel like there's a story behind that statement.
I mean, that's
dude. People always show up to Dyno without gas.
Did you guys decide you actually really ran out of gas? I mean, something. The logs didn't show it going lean, but something ate itself up in the motor. I don't know what we ended up, if we lost oil pressure or something. I mean, dude, guys, you're fucking wide open for 2 minutes at a time on something that makes drag racing type of power. People don't understand. There's literally no engine at the Ducks race that you can run more than a half mile wide open without absolutely destroying itself. Absolutely destroying itself. So it's really hard to be judicious in how much boost you run out there on the salt and your timing, the ignition tune-up. I keep telling people how different it is, and people are like, okay, he says it's different, now let's do the same thing, and then blow their shit up. So whatever. I feel it. It's tough out there.
Yeah, no, I think the EPA is eventually going to hit HP tuners, and then everybody that's got a million VINs on there is going to be, they're going to be up shit creek.
You're up shit creek already if you've got a bunch of ins. That's gonna happen. They're gonna want to see invoices, and they're gonna want 2,500 an invoice, and they'll probably settle for 1,500, 1,300 an invoice that they find.
Yep.
Whoops. He said low fuel pressure for an instant. Huh? I need to go back and look at that. I actually have his logs. I think I brought him home with me. Anyway,
that's everybody's favorite trick for dyno tuning days: is show up with a quarter tank of gas or less,
and the old O2 sensor and 100,000-mile plugs,
and 100,000-mile stock truck fuel pumps.
Yeah.
Why is it at 120% duty cycle at 4,000? Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. But the guy on that one Facebook page, something messy, said that it would work.
Yep. The box said stage 4 cam. It should make 500 horsepower. Who's stage 4 cam?
I said messy, Scott. I covered my butt. Just saying, like I didn't,
I mean, I don't care. You can say slapping mechanics. That's fine. I haven't heard from Matt in a while. I didn't. Our arguments were more kind of funny than like real, but anyway.
Well, the thing about it is Matt knows what the hell he's doing. It's
generally
the followers that they don't really understand the whys and the wherefores behind what Matt's doing, and then
yeah, okay. I can give it that or whatever. I mean, it's just when you start pushing products because you're getting paid to push products in the back, and then they backfire on you.
We're getting free products in a general rule.
Yeah, I mean, I sorry, man, I had to replace like a string of like 26 or 27 cars, all with snake eaters that had to get replaced. Well, Matt Apple uses them and they work fine. I'm like, yeah, they run for 2 minutes for him, and then he builds something new, but. Ooh, that sucked. So that's...
Same, Justin. Same. I'm blocked from there.
Well, I mean, eventually you can buy a bunch of Chinese injectors. Some of them are going to be good. I mean, the rule of averages says some of them are going to be good, and some of them are going to be shit. I mean, do you want to gamble or not? That's really what it boils down to.
So my biggest thing with that whole deal is you rant and raves about China injectors being okay, but then bitches about a China bench that tests them.
Yes.
It's
also
like
funny. Also
hot meat kettle.
Yep. If you flow the China injectors on a China bench, they all come out great.
I'll tell you right now, the China bench he complains about, we have one, and it flows atomizers just fine, but apparently it's not good enough to flow his injectors. But I can flow some 700s, no worries.
I put a Haltech on my China bench. It works just fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you have a good signal generator, it doesn't, I mean, as long as it's repeatable. Sloppy's great with computers, not so much with engines. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah,
but
I can't throw Matt under the bus for that. He's got a ton of content out there that is genuinely good-hearted, good effort material. So I can't dog him too hard, but he gets super butthurt when you talk about him, if it's not how awesome he is. So it's kind of funny. Sorry, dude. But when you got married, it went to hell. I'm teasing.
Oh, be careful.
I'm teasing. I'm just kidding. She's wonderful.
The old sloppy stage 2 cam is 1-in-1 on the dyno. I had one car that didn't do shit with it. Like, it made terrible power, and then my neighbor's freaking 6-liter swap truck made great power with it. So it's whatever. I mean, it's just the combos aren't bad for what they are. I mean, if you look at what it is, my only gripe with it is it got shitty intercoolers.
John says, so for new builds, do you guys having to build in a time? Are you guys having to build in a time or hour rate to help fix them? A tuner buddy told me it was getting out of hand. No, dude. I mean, I just tell those guys, hey, if you hired me from the beginning, I mean, that's what I do is remote troubleshooting. Let's not kid ourselves. All these remote tuners out there, 90% of them are just adjusting your air fuel. They're literally sending you a Holley stock tune with a smoothed out timing map. And then that's it. You pay your $400 to that guy, and that's it. If your shit doesn't run, well, something wrong with your car, man. Sorry. What I'm doing is I'm troubleshooting the whole time. I'm telling them the stuff to check, have a timing light ready, compression gauge, that kind of stuff, cranking compression, whatever. Just debugging stuff. That's what 90% of the work is. So for me, that's just part of the job. To me, when I hear tuners say, man, guy brought me a car that wasn't ready. It's getting out of hand. Dude, let's back up and let me point out, long before there was EFI and computer tards, there were tuners who used their hands, other tools to make adjustments on the car. That's the whole thing about debugging a car. That's what tuning actually is. So if a tuner tells me, man, too many people bringing me cars that aren't ready, dude, shouldn't be tuning. And also, that guy isn't going to make a very good living at it. He's going to need to be subsidized by his wife or his mom or one wealthy customer, that kind of thing. But you can't make a living tuning if you're not there to make the car run. Your job is to make the car perform. And I don't care if that means you found a tire pressure problem at the starting line. Don't say it's not my job. Fix the fucking thing. That is your job, is to make the car run as a tuner. That's how I look at it anyway. So, no, I don't have to build in an extra hourly rate. It's built in. I actually know how to debug things.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a lot of troubleshooting. I mean, if it was as easy as hitting keyboards and flashing some shit, everybody does do it. But, I mean, everybody would do it and everybody would be successful at it. And it's not. That's not, obviously not what it is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I can give credit where it's due that way, too.
But yes, that's a very true statement. You allocate 3 or 4 hours on the dyno and you spend about 2.5, 3 hours going through the setup, not tickling the keys.
The rule for me is I tell them, they're like, okay, you're going to tune, I'll get it running and we'll bring it to the dyno. I'm like, no, we spend our first hour in the garage at your house with the car. Well, you don't need to drive it. I'm like, we'll get it started and idling and taking throttle and on the brake. But we're going to go find all these bugs. We're going to spend an hour or two identifying the problems first. And they always need plugs. They always need new spark plugs. If someone brought you, because they're always trying to do it themselves first, and they always have a jacked up tune. And then they'll tell you, man, those plugs were new 5,000 miles ago. I'm like, yeah, but the last 3 miles was you trying to start the car on 400% too much fuel and wondering why it doesn't run. Those plugs are literally sooted shut. I'll just sandblast them. No, get new plugs. Yeah. Anyway, that's 75% of my tuning jobs are my remotes to start off is debugging that stuff.
I will go on record as saying that the Sloppy Mechanics thing sold more Harbor Freight spark plug cleaner kits where you can clean your spark plugs than any other thing in the history of time. They sold those things. Every time you turn around that page, there's some guy with that new little spark plug cleaning air, put the plug in, hook the air hose up, and it cleaned the plug for you.
You talk about the nutsack thing you mount on the wall?
Yes, and they were posting pictures of that was their thing for a while. Because spark plugs were getting expensive and they were all cleaning their plugs.
I mean, I've never had a set of spark plugs that was so expensive I stopped to fucking clean them.
Bro, airplanes.
We're nitrous guys. We run them for
it's because they build up with lead. Carbon fouling is different. Carbon fouling actually fucks up their electrical properties. I mean, I've had them where they've been looked beautiful, shined up, and they were just misfire. Then you swap them out for a fresh set.
Yeah, no, they don't ever come clean.
Yeah,
I don't believe that shit. Yeah. I don't believe that shit. They don't.
Yeah, I've never. And you've got a dyno. I mean, I've never seen it either, but I've seen 100 times where guys tried to clean them and they still misfired, and we swapped them out. But
shit, before I had a dyno, when we were messing around with the old dyno jet 15 years ago, 20 years ago almost. The shop, I was good buddies with the guys that that had the dyno so that you could score the cheap time. But they had one of those things, and one of the guys there, his brother, I don't know, he's cheap or whatever. He cleaned every freaking spark plug he could get his damn hands on, and they never worked right. Not a single one of them. I mean, we're talking on an NA Honda, they didn't work right. It's like, nah, it's not worth it. I mean, back then plugs were like $1 a piece. It's not even worth it. I was poor and it still wasn't worth my time.
Okay, Troy says we clean out warm-up plugs all the time. We have a designated set of warm-up plugs because nitrous life, we warm the car up on the same set of plugs. Typically our last plugs from last time we were out, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you're warming them up on that because the tune is so goddamn shitty at idle that it destroys plugs and you got to take them out to put race plugs in or whatever.
No, we warm up on them because Scott, some of us have to read plugs every pass, as we take our plugs out and throw them away past that.
This is my thing, dude, on reading plugs. I'm sorry, man, but if I'm to believe that reading plugs is worth a shit, no. I want you to remove the wideband from the car.
I don't have
I'm
one.
to believe that reading plugs is worth the shit, and then I want you to start from scratch on a different engine. And I want plugs to be read all the way.
I'm actually doing that next week. I have a Chevelle with another 632 in it. Ryan Deeroff's car. We have to start tuning in from scratch. Another no wideband car.
Yeah,
my
but is it
Camaro has no
carbureted?
wideband in it. What now?
Is it carbureted?
Yeah.
It's an EFI car with no wideband. I'll give you some.
No. Carbureted. I said carbureted.
Oh, well, what the fuck, dude? That came tuned.
Yeah, but I have to put the nitrous side in.
Okay. I mean, but
Reading
really on
plugs on a nitrous
like,
car is easy though. You pull it out, you see if the electrode's still there, and it's good.
God, damn, that's exactly what I was drawing a breath to say. Exactly. I was like, if the ground strap is still there, then turn it up a quarter turn.
No.
I don't know. I looked at some Bonneville plugs the other day, and every time I look at Bonneville plugs, I chuckle because some of these, I'm like, yeah, read this. Tell me all about how to tune it reading a plug. Here it went lean. Looks like it went lean.
Silas, your answer for that is we cut the threads off the plug so we can see the porcelain down lower, so we can see how far up the porcelain the fuel is running on the plug, just so you know.
Plus, it's like a track torque meter. It looks cool and more expensive and like a neat thing to do. Like
I do not believe in track torque meters. I don't have one of those.
Oh my god, that boosted GT guy! I got him so worked up over a track torque meter. They had a race at our local where I used to live by the I-29 in Iowa, and it's literally Butthole, Iowa. Nice event that Joey Biederbaum puts on, but dude was out there with his shirt off and his track torque meter, and he's tugging, and I'm like, the fuck are you looking at? You're not gonna go change anything in your car anyway. Somebody else makes that change for you or whatever.
I could understand it the same way I treat an O2 sensor on a big nitrous car where we have the hydrogen issues, where I'm not super worried about the number. I just use it for data to see if it changed. So like if I was running a book of passes and I was logging what the track pulled per se, I guess it'd just be something I would add to my book, but I don't feel like I would make a track change based on what that said. That's more of a gut instinct when you walk the starting line before the pass.
Hey, so while we're talking about reading spark plugs, how many of y'all index your plugs?
Every set.
For the pro stock engines, we have to, or they hit. Like the actually bitch on a pro stock engine doing a new set of plugs on the 500-inch NHRA motors. They literally got to be indexed because of contact issues, which tells you something. 15.5, 16 to 1 compression, something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they don't. Why do they need a spark plug? It should just run.
Right.
Well, right. Funny story.
They run on surprisingly more timing than you would expect. Those are still, fuck it. They're like 32, 33, cars, right? 34 degree engines. No, I just, I don't have an agreement. I won't get in trouble for talking about the stuff I did here in the last couple of years for NHRA Pro Stock stuff. Because I'm not doing one this year because nobody's doing that stuff anymore, unfortunately, and it's just not fun. But the pro stock guys there doing plug swaps was a bitch because you'd had to index, like it'd take a guy
10 sets in the trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And they'd have them doing sets in the trailer, but the guy would still sit there at the engine. You know, it is interesting with the mark, making the marks just to make sure that when they seat at the right torque, they're right in the right spot.
You guys are joking about compression. The 632 in the Camaro has more compression than the diesel in Ryan Milliken's Hardway Nova, that race car. True story.
Alcohol car?
Hey,
nope. C20. It runs on the hardcore 120 NOS.
Sorry, Larry Heiss just joined in, and I actually have a Larry Heiss shirt on. So Larry owns the Dyno, the only hub dyno I like. The only hub dyno I like.
That's the one you said local, the one that's local to you that does its job and actually.
It does. It repeats super good, but it's so funny because every time I go there, Allison Black and Paul from DynoCom are both logged in on remote, making sure everything's good and that we're doing it right. And mostly because he's the new owner of the dyno, but man, him and his guy Scott I brought 4 cars down there now, and they've just repeated back to back. And I don't know if the numbers are real or not. I don't really care. I just care if it repeats. Anyway, their dyno works good, but I'm wearing his shirt tonight. I don't know if you can see it or not. I got a Larry Heiss shirt on. He gave me a shirt last time I was down there, but we like his dyno. It's really cool. They're in kind of outside of Fort Smith, Arkansas. So it's a couple hours away from where I live, but really nice dyno, nice hub dyno setup.
Hashtag DynoCom for the win.
Truth, man. I had to give Dynocom points, and they did not come easily earned. I've been hard on dyno manufacturers when there's problems that I struggled with on their equipment, and they don't get it fixed for me right away. I stomp my feet like a little bitch. You are.
I don't.
Sometimes,
You realize,
I
Allison?
know. I'm just not. I'm a abrasive personality sometimes, but yeah, they earned their laurels there with that particular Dynocom hub dyno at Larry's shop.
You know, Allison's gotten like 7 messages from people listening right now to log in and listen to us right now because we're talking about dynos, right? Like, I'm just waiting for her to start commenting here.
Allison will be here momentarily. I'm sure
Yes.
she's getting messages right now. And bless her heart, man, she hustles. That
She
girl
does.
hustles.
She does.
She works it so good. I mean, and I don't mean hustle in a bad way. I mean, like, if you want to observe proper marketing and sales work ethic, and I don't want to say tactics, but a good plan. I mean, she's clearly does a good job, man. I love her to death. And then they're fun people. If you've met Allison and Paul, they're like the nicest people on top of that. And they need to go hang out we did classes at Dynocom, and if you hang out there and see what the shit they have to deal with from some of their customers and their Facebook and YouTube influencers and stuff, it's just, I would hate to have to sell and support such a high-tech piece of equipment to people who a lot of people who aren't, don't go about the right way of keeping them going. But
And yet here we are talking about tuning cars with electronics.
yeah.
And he was just making fun of my carbureted car. Just saying.
I mean, I'm feeling.
I don't even have a carburetor on my lawnmower anymore. Get out of here with that old school crap.
Dahlquist
Hey,
has a fun
it works.
carburetor story.
So hang on a second.
Go
Scott,
ahead.
I have twin Bola's Dominators on that car. BLP carbs. What do you think horsepower-wise I'm really going to pick up if I change?
The carburetors to EFI?
Yep. From a set of Mike Laws built BLP carburetors.
Nothing. So here's the deal. Whatever you pick up may not be repeatable, or weather's going to kill it. But I mean, if this is BLP, Mike Law's carburetors, those are the ones that Dahlquist pulled out. Like, I spent 2 days getting his Engine Master's engine dialed in on port injection, and it was kick ass. And then he's like, well, stick around for the carburetor test part. It took him 10 minutes to swap the throttle body off for a carburetor and fucking to run the same number, naturally aspirated. And on nitrous, I would kind of expect similar results.
We're lucky. BLP's in downtown Orlando. I can walk by and say hi whenever I want to. So I'm lucky in that aspect.
Oh, man, the Laws family and their carbs are. I mean, dude, they did carbs for Cup cars. They did.
Yep, they still do.
Stock NHRA stuff. They did carbs for all sorts of roundy round stuff too. Man, road racing guys, they're badass. Don't ever tell yourself that just because you think you can do EFI and you did one on your car that it's better than carburetors all the time. And you can invest some time in tuning carburetors. Like when I worked at Blueprint, they let me kind of I wanted to do some calibrations on some of their engines because they were using box stock carburetors to test on the dyno. I was like, man, some of these things run like 10 to 1 air fuels at wide open. Okay, for break-in, but you're killing power. Let's see what they really make. So I did a couple of really well-tuned carburetor deals, and it's funny. I called John Beck a whole lot because he was always bugging me for the EFI questions at the time. And he was the real good part throttle carburetor tuner guy, and he helped me out with some of those. And it's a good exercise to go through to make a carburetor work at all loads and RPMs, and they can. Now, if you're making big boost and blowing through them and stuff like that,
I'll make fun of Kevin Van Noy every day for that.
No, Kevin's got a program for a budget.
He does.
Go fucking 8s on a budget with his stuff, man. Easy in a street car type of situation. And a lot of his guys don't spend the time to tune the part throttle or transition stuff because they don't care about it. But again, I'm not going to crack on blow through. I just think for a race program, I like a port EFI. I like having that individual cylinder control. Yeah, so people guys on here talking about the Laws family. They're awesome.
I'm gonna throw the question at you because the guy literally is messaging me right now that we talked about the other day. I have been asked what I feel the plausibility is of running a Holley Sniper on propane or natural gas.
Totally doable. So you can use, if you swap them out to, we'll back up. So you need big volume injectors, right? You need 8 210s for any modern domestic V8 of 300 inches or bigger. And if it's a 500 or 600 inch engine, you're going to need more than 8 Bosch 210s. The problem is the fuel capacity. You're going to be feeding it gaseous fuel, which you can do. I'm going to bet you can totally do into the rail of a Sniper. I'm sure it can be modified to work. But you're going to lose a lot of power on dry fuel, right?
So,
you're going to lose like 25-30% right off the bat.
Do we think, and this is strictly, I've told him I'm not willing to be involved. He's asking me why. I don't have time. He wants to, I'm guessing, do we use the big power adder Sniper? It's on a 6.2 or 6.0 LS NA motor. So we're going to need the big power adder Sniper just to have the fuel volume in the injectors, I would guess.
Yeah, you are, and you may not get enough. I mean, do those? I think they have 8. You can get 210s for those in volume, but do the 210s you buy are not the Bosch 210s with the right guts for use with a dry fuel that's corrosive and non-lubricating?
Is the dry fuel corrosive?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's high.
Okay.
I don't know if it's hygroscopic, but I know there's problems. You can't run stock injectors. That's why those original Bosch 210s, they're designed for natural gas. So they had some stainless guts of some part. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass. But there was something specific for the Bosch 210s why you had to run those. Number one, you need much more volume for the dry fuel in a gaseous state. You're not going to run it in liquid. You can't do it on liquid. It's too cold when it's at that pressure. And so anyway, yeah, but it's doable. It actually will probably work really good. You might be surprised. We've done them as a TBI, and if you get what essentially is killer good atomization, there's no wall wetting effect. So you don't have to worry about transients and you have to worry about fuel puddling in the floor of the intake. So it'll actually work good. The flip side of that is a good carb mixer, or I mean a good propane or natural gas mixer, which is a carburetor for those things, also works awesome. That's what's on a bunch of forklifts. A lot of the forklifts, they work so well, even when they put electronic fuel injection controls on them. Like I've tuned Woodward ECUs that ran the ignition for flathead 4-cylinder forklift engines that ran on natural gas and propane, but still had a mixer. They had an adjustable mixer with a PWM solenoid on them that the ECM could lean them out 10 or 15% or richen them up 10 or 15%, but it never had to change anything. There's never a reason. You don't need a choke or you don't need enrichments on dry fuels. I talked way too long about dry fuels. Nobody gives a shit about that. Propane may come back around, actually, or natural gas, compressed natural gas. People don't realize CNG is if you're down in the south where they vent that stuff off, or burn it off, flash burn it off, or whatever. If you can get some of that dirt cheap natural gas CNG during the summer and spend a couple grand on a compressor, but works good.
That's what I need. I need a compressor because I got natural gas here at the house and in the shop.
Yeah, you can get the compressor. They're not that horribly expensive. Now I think there's Chinese ones in the like $1,000 range.
Yeah, that's a good point. I have natural gas here at the house because my heater, my dryer, all that stuff's on natural gas.
Yeah, Chris Stewart's in here talking about it. I think that's what he's talking about. Murphy EICS system. Let me go look and see what that is. Stewie, what are you doing? Oh, there we go. Oh, he must do conversions. I've actually seen these in the field. Okay, I've seen these out in the gas fields. The EICS stuff. Okay, that's kind of cool. Huh.
Now you gotta make me go
shit.
Buy
now
some.
Now I'm going down a rabbit hole in the
I was gonna say now you're gonna make me go buy some beater car. I can convert over. God
damn you, Stewie, man! He got me launched on. I'm gonna be doing on this one for a while.
I'm already.
They make a bunch of shit for different applications for dry fuels.
I literally have the Haltech out of my Camaro in this shitbox Honda that I drive back and forth to work every day now. So it's already got 4 extra injector drivers just waiting for some natural gas.
Yeah, natural gas is not a bad way to go.
Down the rabbit hole we go.
Oh man, I got to turn this off, but I'm gonna go back to this stuff later. That's kind of cool. All right, they got a lot of neat toys and shit there. I was gonna say I recognize some parts I've seen on some old cat conversions.
Can I go pick up like an old 1.8T Audi or Volkswagen or something and
I want to do a 1.8 Jetta turbo diesel motor in something lightweight. Like I really like that engine. We put a couple 100,000 miles on one of those engines in our family once, and that thing was absolutely bulletproof. Now the rest of the car was a gigantic pile of shit. Everything electrical on that car, I mean, sucked. But on the Volkswagen, but the Jetta, it was like a 2000 Jetta or 2001 Jetta when it was new back in the day. But I mean, I had no trouble fixing that stuff and keeping the rest of it running. But this fucking thing at 50 plus 55 miles per gallon on a highway, we get like on a highway trip, we manually calculated 58 miles per gallon on a big long road trip with that thing, and it would really respond. You'd put like the house diesel stuff in it, and it would pick up mileage, like it would pick up BTUs. You could tell on something that small. It's pretty cool.
That reminds me, I need to flash the wife's TDI.
Oh yeah. So what year has she got?
She has a Dieselgate car.
I was just gonna ask, could you get a deal on the Dieselgate ones or anything if I was shopping?
Yeah, when they a couple years ago they couldn't sell them for a while. Hers is one of the last ones, and it's the sports wagon, so it's the big one, is as much as they are big. It's been great. I mean, the thing averages even with all the DEF bullshit and all that. I mean, it's totally stock. I don't do anything. I don't even change the oil on it. She won't let me fuck
bullshit.
But,
sorry.
No, she won't let me fuck with it. She won't let me touch it.
That's crazy. She knows better than you guys. Have been together a while.
Yes, she does.
Wow.
But it averages.
It's not even that bad in my
50.
household yet.
I mean, it does 45 or 50, and I mean, she is not light on the accelerator in anything. So.
And it's still it's a heavier car and still gets 30s, I'm guessing.
Oh, it's over 40. It averages over 40.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, something like that. I remember when the wife drove it, she put $9 a month driving to work every day, driving like 40 miles round trip every day in that thing at the time in the early 2000s. I bought a diesel truck because diesel prices were so cheap, and in 1998 I had a Cummins. I was just looking at this. I bought a 98. It was the very first year of they had 98s with a 12 valve and 98s with a 24 valve, and I bought the 24 valve. And in the quad cab, you couldn't get the clamshell doors in a 24 valve, so I was pissed about that. But I got an NV 4500 5-speed, 4-wheel drive, and I got the more highway-oriented gears, not for towing. Anyway, it was a nice truck to drive around. Diesel fuel was like 78 cents a gallon where I lived at the time in 1998 or 97 or late 97 when I bought that thing. It was really, really cheap, and it was cheaper than gas, which is the other weird thing. It was before they went with the crazy clean fuel. And that thing, other than needing a lift pump right off the bat and backing off a 5th gear nut, which we fixed ourselves, that was a good truck. I put 355,000 miles on that thing before the Dodge body started rusting off, before it just became too embarrassing to drive. And then I parted it out and got a shitload of money for the fucking Jeep guys. Love the running gear on that thing. The Dana 80 rear, a 60 front, I think it was, and the transfer case was a big piece. So they love the NV 4500 trans. They ate that. I think I sold that for a couple $1,000 or something ridiculous at the time. That's been 10 years ago since I got rid of that truck. But anyway, good shit.
Like back in '98, even premium was only like $1.10.
Yeah. And it was Missouri Valley, Iowa. Let's look at what the historical prices were. I remember paying like 78 cents was my low point at some point for diesel. And I can't remember if that was in Mary's TDI or in my Dodge truck, but we were back in the diesel stuff, that thing. But 98 average. I don't know what I'm looking at there.
I'm wearing myself out looking up freaking, what's it called, propane conversion kits, and you got my mind racing on being able to fuel my car right here in the garage at the house and not be an EV.
Yeah, so propane, you can do it that way. Natural gas, I think, is a little higher BTUs, and you could do it with a compressor. You got to do it with a high pressure compressor, but not a big deal. It's kind of like filling nitrous mild.
Nitrous mild, yeah.
Yeah. What else? Holy shit, it's been an hour and a half. I keep losing my chat. There it is. Okay. Darce Laws. Darce, you should come to, if we do a class at Automotive Specialist, you should come to that. That's the Dorton family. They're the arguably the greatest domestic V pushrod engine builders on the planet. Yeah, Troy Lango's talking about going to a fuel class if they can do it on gasoline. I'm comfortable with the methanol. You're gonna have to up your injector size though, Troy, by like double to do that. You're gonna have to put a second set on there. Justin McMurtry just bought a TDI Passat.
Smart man.
It's interesting. All right, what else? Anybody else?
Going once.
Going once.
There's good stories in here. We'll let them roll. I don't even know if I got a call. I got to get my producer on the phone. He's working from remote, but let me.
How's Mr. Jason?
I'll call Jason and see if he's still awake. He's like, I'm here. Maybe.
Good times.
Nah, he's not answering him.
Oh.
I gotta hold on. He's ready to go. He's gonna take us out. Music's playing. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for helping me out tonight. Anybody else got any other things they want to talk about in the next week or two? Holler. I don't know if we'll be on next week because we might be traveling, but the week after that for sure.
Yes, Silas.
Yes, Silas. Ketchup on eggs. It's a doable thing. It really is. I'm learning.
Hot sauce is better, but ketchup works.
Truth. We had the best caterer at this last class. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So I don't know if you noticed, but there was lemon flavoring in the macaroni and cheese that they baked. It was badass.
Ketchup, not so much on breakfast eggs, but sure.
Right. No, whatever works. Whatever works. All right. Well, we'll break out.